Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the Chupacabra tutorials channel. I'm your host Larry, and today we're going to be talking about how to remove yellow discoloration from teeth in pictures using Adobe Photoshop. And it's a relatively simple process that's going to start by zooming in here so we get a lovely shot of this gentleman's teeth that I pulled off of Google Images, and we're going to add a hue and saturation adjustment layer. Because really all we're doing is adding some non-destructive layers on top of this image so that we can tweak the color of just the teeth, and all we really want to do is try to pull out some of the yellow saturation so it's got a slight hint of color, but not a lot. But to begin with, we're not even going to worry about what color the teeth are at all. We're actually going to adjust this whole image so it's like bright blue or something. And then we're going to click on this big white box in our adjustment layer. This is called a layer mask. And everything inside of a layer mask that's white is solid, and everything that's black is invisible or transparent, or like a ghost. We could, however you want to think about it. I'm going to hit Control A to select all, and I'm going to go to Edit, Fill. I'm going to fill this entire area with black so that it's pretty much invisible to us. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select just our teeth very quickly using the brush tool. So you can find that over in the side panel. It literally looks like a brush, or you can hit B to bring it up. I'm also going to go ahead and double click on my brushes panel, make sure a nice soft round preset brush is selected. And then I'm going to start by clicking on the black square again, just brushing all of the teeth so that the only thing that looks crazy and blue is going to be the teeth themselves. And this is a really easy way to just kind of like quickly select stuff on the go, especially if you're kind of playing with the idea of making an edit, but you're not sure that you want to do that yet. And the soft edge to this brush means it'll blend kind of gently with the edge of the gums here so that I don't have like a weird Oompa Loompa thing going on with absolutely every surface of this guy's face. So I'm just going to gently brush most of the teeth that I think are actually going to be seen and noticed by this method. It's all right back here. There's like a kind of a silhouette of a couple other teeth. It's all right to ignore those in the back if you don't think that they're going to be greatly affected by the color change, or people just aren't going to notice that they aren't perfectly pearly white back there. Because honestly, I can't even tell that those back there are yellow right now. And once you've got all of these different teeth painted, we'll proceed on to the next step. There we go. And I'm actually going to do these two teeth hiding back here on this side, the right side of our image, just because I'm not entirely certain how well that's going to just appear to people on the outside world. So now we've got, you know, very lovely blue teeth, as if we've struck upon somebody with delicious candy teeth. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to play with these teeth so that they have kind of like a whiter, more washed out tone than they did before, but they also don't have just pure white. Because if I just boost this to pure white, or if I boost, if I take out all the saturation, that still kind of looks weird. It kind of looks like this guy has either got like rocks for teeth, or that they're dead. Like there's no circulation of blood in these teeth and there's something wrong with them. So we don't want to do that, obviously. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for them to gently blend with the rest of the photo. And what do I mean by that? Well, the simple answer is a good way to hide stuff like these imperfections is to find, like, say, a nice orange, pull the saturation down most of the way, maybe lighten the teeth ever so slightly, and we're actually going to try and hide the teeth with like a slight kind of orangish hue. And that already looks way better. So like before it's very yellow in comparison. And we want to retain a slight amount of that color, but we want to hide it with like kind of like an orange-red hue from the rest of the skin tone so that your eye kind of goes, oh no, those are really nice white teeth, and they blend with the rest of the face. We're kind of like tricking the eye. The other thing that we can do is we can take this selection again. We can hit Control Select on our mask here in this black selection. It'll select what we have drawn over top of. And we can actually add like a curves layer to try and brighten up different portions of those teeth. This is actually something that I learned to do when trying to fix color casts or weird lighting problems inside of eyes. And that is you can boost certain ranges of brightness or colors using a curves layer by double-clicking on this layer and going to the blending options. And what blending options are here is we can blend if gray or if it's red or if it's blue. And this allows us to hold Alt and click and drag portions of these little sliders down here because each of them splits in two so that we only blend, say, the highlights of a tooth so that they're brightened up, or we only blend the mid-tones or the dark tones. And we can even use this to say, like, I want the teeth brighter, but obviously these back teeth won't be crazy bright. So I'm actually going to take this dark slider over here, blend it into the middle so that it slowly pulls away that lighting until it's just like a halo near the brightest portions in the middle. Similarly, I can pull this one over and I can get it so that it's just a bit of the highlights being done. And a lot of what you're doing with this methodology is just looking at what you're blending, pulling this over, and seeing what's going to happen. And I'm pretty happy with this right now. Let's play with the dark side of things. We don't want to like nix out too much of this because that would completely ruin the effect. But there you have a more realistic kind of bright lighting, like this guy is in a light box when he's having his photo taken. And we can even go as far as to pull the opacity down on this just directly to make it so it looks a bit natural. Now, if we grab both of these layers and dump them into the same group together, we can hit the eyeball a couple of times. And you can see it's like night and day. It looks really natural. It looks like we've blended together like the different highlights in the teeth because, you know, if you look at your teeth in the mirror, there's kind of like these at the bottom edges here, there's kind of more transparent portions. So that's blended together really nicely. And if you want, you can go into each one of these masks or just put together this layer mask. Let's unlink this. We'll take this layer mask and put it onto the group itself. And then we'll just delete this other one. So now all the masks are controlled by just one mask. We can then even go back and hitting X to swap between black and white. We can make sure our selection is clean and not too overzealous so that all of the teeth are properly whitened. And we're not trying to whiten this gentleman's gums too much. I'll even go ahead and take some of this plaque out here because he's got some gook between his teeth, which is kind of gross. And that'll make it really easy to make sure he looks pristine for picture day. Isn't that just fancy? So that's just kind of a brief look at how you go about whitening teeth in Photoshop. There's a lot of different tools that you could use to do this, to be completely honest. You've got just the hue and saturation tool, which is my preference for adjusting colors on the fly. You can also use the select color adjustment layer, which actually lets you grab a specific color range like yellows to play with them and adjust them. Similarly to that, you can actually delete, we'll just delete this. You can actually go into hue and saturation and use this button, the hand button, and you can actually color select directly so that you're only affecting a specific range of hues directly through this color picker. And some of those tools I'll probably talk about in a later video, but for right now, this is a very clean, very basic, and very simple way that you can go through and adjust the colors inside of this smile so that they're fixed, and you can also make sure that the highlights don't look funny too. That'll be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Larry. If you have any questions, throw those in the comments below, and until next time, have a good one, and I'll catch you next time.